Oh, I'm turning the steering wheel back and forth 1,000 times.
Why are you doing that?
Because we took the steering box out and now we have to bleed the system.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I know, it's super
Being
fun.
helpful. Look at that smile on his face. Nothing but fun times. Getting an arm workout. But it's just your right hand?
Yeah.
That'll give his left hand a break.
Ha!
Ha! Now, for those of you that watched our previous video, this building might look a little bit familiar, and that's because, yes, we're still here in San Angelo, Texas, at West Texas Off-Road, which, for those of you that didn't know, is also home of the RedNeck Ram. And if I haven't dropped enough hints over the last several videos, today we are officially installing a RedNeck Ram hydraulic steering assist. Let's go! Ah! Okay, so we're gonna be doing this a little bit different than the norm as is current right now with the JL. And to kind of explain how we're gonna do this hydraulic assist install, I'm gonna introduce you to Matt Hodges, who's actually the owner of RedNeck Ram. I'm gonna let him explain it because he definitely can do this way better than me.
I'm Matt. Like she said, I'm the owner of RedNeck Ram. So we're going to put together a little bit of game plan. Like she said, we're going to do things a little bit different. The JL is such a new platform. It's really great to have people like these guys that will let us experiment and try new things. The Ram is going to be pretty straightforward. The Steer Smarts brackets look really beefy. I'm not sure that they're going to be at the right angles, but I think that's going to be an easy fix if it isn't. Then the big thing is the new JLs have the electric power steering pumps. We're a little bit concerned on that. We've had some people that have had good luck with it and some people that have not.
We're gonna see if we can make it work for us, because if we can, this will be a much more cost-effective way of doing this for us, for you guys, for the consumer, for the customer. It could potentially save everyone a ton of money. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that this does what we want it to do.
And simplicity. It'll save everybody simplicity.
Absolutely. It's going to be way simpler of an install.
Simpler.
And these guys have been around as long, if not longer, than some people have even been in business. So if anyone can get this done and make it work and get it done right, it'll be RedNeck Ram.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great.
We're pumped. This is going to be exciting. So first things first for the hydraulic assist is getting into that fender liner to remove the factoring steering box. There it goes.
Got it.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
How did I do that at San Paulo with the little tiny ball peen?
I have no idea.
Remember I sat there whacking it for like an hour?
I mean,
Phrasing. Because I said whacking it for like an hour.
I got the joke.
That's why I said phrasing.
I got the joke, Kev.
What? What?
So for those of you that are curious, we're removing the drag link because it is attached to the pitman arm, which is attached to the steering box. Woohoo! Victory! So another thing worth mentioning that I will show you here in a second is as he removed the lines from the steering box, he actually capped them off individually one by one to minimize the loss of the electric power steering fluid, which is a new thing. So for those of you who have a new JL, remember it is a hydroelectric steering system, which means that there is a specific kind of fluid that you do need to use on this vehicle. So as you can see here, you've got one line here with a cap on the end of it, and one more up here with a cap on it as well. And all that does basically is it prevents you from losing fluid, getting air bubbles in that whole power steering system, and ideally will also help to prevent running the pump dry when you put everything back together. And of course, this means that the next step is disassembling the steering box, cleaning it, drilling it, porting it, and tapping it.
Phrasing.
Phrasing! And after a nice coat of paint, we have our final product.
So what do we have, right? Oh, so the stock ones go back on, and then the other two just tie in. Gotcha.
Okay, so now that we've got the steering box drilled, ported, tapped, everything's good to go, and it's back on the Jeep, we need to install the hydraulic ram. But there's a few really important key factors when installing this part that you have to keep in mind. I'm gonna let Matt explain this because he's been doing this for just about ever, and he knows a lot more about it than I do.
They've got this system set up for a steering stabilizer, and it's really beefy stuff, but for hydraulic assist, some of our angles aren't quite right. We need the ram to be parallel this way with the tie rod, and if you're looking at it from above, it needs to be parallel this way. That will help you going down the road so that you don't get any of the rock in your tie rod, and what that will cause, it has to take up that slack before you can turn, and that's where you get your twitchy steering that people hear about with hydraulic assist. If you get this ram perfectly parallel each way where it doesn't rock back and forth, that'll fix your problem. You'll have a much more enjoyable driving experience.
So basically what we're going to do is we're going to modify these brackets so that we can get that rod to be perfectly parallel both vertically and horizontally with our tie rod. So I just wanted to take a moment to kind of explain that and show that to everyone. That way you can understand just how this is going to be done the right way.
We want this thing to drive like a Cadillac. Right?
Yeah.
Burn all the stuff off of it, get it nice and warm for the paint to stick. You see the moisture come out of the metal as you warm it up. You can see the moisture come out, and we're not going to get it hot enough to hurt anything. We're just going to get it warm enough so there's no moisture trapped underneath the paint.
Okay, so as you guys can see, we did decide to go ahead and add a power steering cooler to our entire system. Now, adding the ram will make the pump work about half as hard as it did before, so the chances of overheating are much more slim than they were before. But adding the cooler will not only increase the fluid capacity we have, but it is also going to be our extra safety net to just be doubling sure that we don't have any issues overheating that electric steering pump that the JLs have.
Here we go.
So you guys can see the bracket. Basically, they added on these plates here to move this bolt up, and they added on these plates over here to extend this bolt outward. And what that's done, as you can see compared to what it was a while ago, it is now perfectly parallel horizontally with the tie rod. And if we move over to this side, you can see kinda that it is also perfectly parallel vertically, not necessarily directly over it, but it's parallel as far as they both run along that same axis. So this is definitely how it should be done. This is going to limit that twitchiness you feel on the road, on the highway, and just make it ride and steer overall way better. It's a little extra work, but it's definitely going to be worth it in the long run. So one of the really cool things, and the reason Kevin and I love doing this so much as far as the traveling and the off-roading, is always meeting new people that share this passion that we have for not just vehicles in general, but of course in our case, Jeeps. As you can see, the whole time we've been working, there's been this beautiful brand new JL right next to us getting work done as well, with like 100 miles on it, and it's already got a lift, it's got the metal cloak skid plates coming in, got a winch over there. Oh God, there's so much that's being done to this. And ironically enough, while we were working, Miles, who is the owner of the Jeep, walked in, recognized us, and said hi. So that's the coolest part about this trip, is being able to travel and meet our subscribers and just, hi, Miles.
Say hi to like
Hi to myself.
yeah, wife, family, kids, anybody out there you want to say hi to?
Hi guys.
This is hands down one of our favorite parts about doing all this, is meeting new people, just sharing this passion that we have for cars with everyone around us. So Miles, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Good to meet you guys.
Your Jeep is way nicer than ours. It's much cleaner, at least.
We'll see what it looks like in a few months.
There you go. Come to some of the trails with us.
Come to Moab.
We'll take care of that. What are you doing, Kev?
Oh, I'm turning the steering wheel back and forth 1,000 times.
Why are you doing that?
Because we took the steering box out and now we have to bleed the system.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at you.
I know. It's super
Being
fun.
helpful. Look at that smile on his face. Nothing but fun times, all the fun times. Getting an arm workout, but it's just your right hand?
Yeah.
That'll give his left hand a break.
Ha!
Ha! All right, everything is buttoned up. We've bled the lines. They're gonna go take it for a quick test drive. See how it feels. I'm so excited. Tire is fully stuffed, resting on bump stops. And as you can see, we have clearance everywhere you look. Whew. So pretty. So of course the Hydro Assist did fantastic on the test drive, but this is Kevin and I were talking about. So what did we do? We hopped in the Jeep and drove 14 hours straight to Moab, Utah to do a little bit of rock crawling, because that's hands down the best way to really see what not just the Steer Smart steering kit can do, but what the RedNeck Ram Hydro Assist can do. Before we get into the rocks though, I'm gonna give you a quick glimpse of just how awesome this Hydro Assist is. So normally when you're up against a curb like this and you want to turn the steering wheel, you feel a ton of resistance, and in a lot of cases you'll actually not be able to turn the wheel at all. But now with the RedNeck Ram Hydro Assist, the whole Jeep shifts over. Look, hold on, look. It actually put a gap between the tire and the curb. It just shifts the whole Jeep. All right, so we're back up against the curb now. Kevin's gonna turn again so we can see just how awesome this
This is
is.
pretty neat. So we're up against the curb. Let's just turn into the curb. You can see the whole Jeep.
The whole Jeep shifts. So you basically can't feel it in the steering wheel at all.
Nope, little to no resistance. It's actually perfect. I feel like a kid in a candy store. I want to go out on my rocks and play right now.
Of course, aside from our cool little curb trick, this thing is going to be fan-freaking-tastic off-road and in the rocks. It's gonna keep us from getting hung up and not being able to steer in a lot of situations. But it's also amazing on the road.
It feels great on road. Response is there. There's no lag. It's kind of like having multiple stabilizers. The steering's a bit heavier, but it's a consistent. It turns and it's always consistent no matter what you're doing.
And because it's the factory JL and it's the electric pump that we're tapping in and utilizing, that means that when you're at lower speeds, you have more assist. But as you get higher to highway speeds, obviously that electric pump gives you less assist, and so the steering isn't twitchy like a lot of people are used to.
Yeah, on mechanical pumps, the higher you get in RPMs, the more pressure you get. So on the highway, usually with the Ram system, it gets kind of twitchy because you have a lot of pressure going on and you're cruising down the road. This is the opposite. This is at highway speed, you get less assist from the electric motor, so it's actually super stiff. When you come to a stop is when your electric motor actually kicks in and gives you all the assist. There's no delay, you've got plenty of power. You don't have to rev up the RPMs because it's all electric. There's nothing mechanical. So that's amazing.
The 14-hour drive to Moab was
Yeah, it was great.
probably the best drive we've had in this JL in a long time. It literally drives itself. We took a video.
So I'm doing 80 miles an hour down the highway. We'll let go of the steering wheel. Look, no hands. Look at that, straight. I mean, you can make a little tiny correction. Like, you might touch it just a tiny bit just to keep you straight. Yeah, so it was the most relaxed drive I've had. I could literally let go of the wheel. I would just rest my hand on the wheel and it would go straight, and I'd make tiny little corrections. Most people with JLs know you have that wandering. It's all over the road. Everybody complains about it. We have none of that anymore. The Steer Smart system, along with this RedNeck Ram,
Fan-freaking-tastic. And I would say now it's officially time to go really test everything out, including those RCV axles we installed on some rocks. It's the whole point of being here in Moab, but you'll have to wait for the next video. I hate to tease you, but thank you guys for watching. You know we love you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you next time. Bye!
Later, guys.
Oh!
What?
And we have a surprise to introduce to you in the next video as well. That's why he's here, so. Hi, baby.
So how many of you guys do this as well? Show them, Brittany.
You're gonna make fun of me. When I eat at Wendy's, I get plain burgers, and I dip them in my chocolate frosting.
Display.
I have to admit, I dip French fries in the Frosty.
Chicken nuggets and frostings are
Chicken
also
nuggets and
delicious.
Frosties are really delicious. I don't know about a burger though.
It's delicious. Don't judge me. It's so good.
Oh, this girl. Eating habits.